Okay, go ahead.
Welcome to the Phlarpin Podcast. My name is Jason Smith, or North.
And I'm Jessica, or Mercer Stitch.
And I guess I was going to say welcome back, but we're glad to be back, I guess, after being gone for so long.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to go over a few things today. We're at the new property, so maybe at the end of it, I'm going to pick the GoPro up and give you like a real short, quick tour. But yeah, we're at the new property. We got the electric on. Everything's going pretty good. So we'll be opening in a couple weeks now. So
And what's the date for that?
April 6th, which is the first Saturday in April. And it'll be from 3 to midnight or until dawn on Sunday if we have enough people here. Like, I won't leave at midnight if there's enough people here, but if there's not big turnout, I might leave at midnight. Or shut it down, I guess, at midnight.
So it's contingent on how many players are here, how many people want to stay through the night.
Yes, just for that first night, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then every subsequent Saturday after that, at least for the foreseeable future, we'll be open from Saturday at dawn until Sunday at dawn. And then I will run home and get 4 hours of sleep. And then I'll run up to the park, and then we'll still do the park 1 to 5. There are a few other changes, although most of those changes we're going to go over next week. So we'll have the podcast. This should be coming out Wednesday or Thursday of this week. And then we'll play again next Sunday, and then we'll have one more podcast before the grand opening. And that podcast will go over more of like changes that are going to be because we're moving to property, and probably more of the other changes too, I think. Or did we decide we're going over these today or waiting?
We can go over some of them after we do the suggestions, just kind of see how far we get.
Okay.
Because we have all the suggestions that were put in there from the weeks that we didn't do the podcast, so there's quite a few.
Right. And just as, I guess, a manner of housekeeping, you know, we appreciate the support on social media and everything. Give us a like, you know, subscribe, please. Sorry about the echo in here. I realize that there's a bit of an echo. I don't know how much it's picking up on the mics, but I guess we'll see whenever we go to play it back. But we will get some sound dampening stuff in here so that it doesn't echo eventually. And so what the plan is today. Oh, and also, okay, let me go back for the housekeeping stuff. Like I said, thank you for everybody. I just want to make sure that I'm taking the time to thank everybody. I realize that this isn't possible without the support of players. So I really appreciate it. I just want to make sure I'm giving you guys a shout out. This isn't, you know, I'm only half the battle here. The rest of it is the players that show up. So, and all that volunteer help that we're getting, you know, you and anybody else that volunteers to help or supports us in some way, we really appreciate, even if it's not monetarily. Just helping me get stuff to the truck at the end of the day is I appreciate you, you know. It's hard to put into words how much this means to me, but know that if you're a part of Phlarp or have supported Phlarp or whatever, that I really, really appreciate it. This is like my life now, so, and I want it to be, and that wouldn't be possible or as enjoyable without everybody supporting me, so.
Yeah, and we have a lot of really supportive players. It seems like everybody we have is always willing to help in any way that they can. You know, help each other, help us, you know, help make the game a little better, and if we need to, you know, we have a really good group of people.
Mm-hmm. True. So what we're going to, the game plan today is to go, like you said, go over the suggestions that we've gotten over the past few weeks or whatever since we've did the last podcast, so it's been a little while. But we're going to kind of just breeze through them, so I guess we'll go ahead and start that now. Do you want to just take half?
Sure.
Some of these were also just positive ones. They're not all, I guess, like serious, you know, stuff to address. But I guess that kind of helps mix up the more serious stuff or heavier, you know, suggestions. So I have just a one that just says, today is a great day. I had a lot of fun. Keep up the good work. Make the whole bigger. I love my Phlarp / my fave family.
Nice. For clarification, when lightning bolt hits someone, is it a disarm to the specific limb it hit or a full disarm?
It's a full disarm. If lightning bolt hits you in the meat, meaning like, it actually doesn't have to hit you in the meat. It can hit you in the armor, but I just mean your body. If it hits your body anywhere, it fully disarms you.
Both hands.
Yes. I actually got nicked with that today, and it disarmed me.
Nice.
But yeah, both hands, even not just the one that's hit.
I said nice, but that probably wasn't nice for you.
No, I did live through the encounter though.
Well, that's good.
I died shortly thereafter, but I lived through that encounter. I have, when you multi-class, do you have to use ability points to get the second class weapons? Yes, and they cost 1 ability point, and the ability points are specific to the class. So like, if you're a 5th level ranger and you're going to take your next level as a rogue, you're going to get 1 ability point for your rogue to use within the rogue pool of abilities up to 1st level. So just in 1st level. And so the weapon trainings, even though they're 0 level, they cost 1 ability point out of the new ones. So if you wanted to take throwy weapons as the rogue, you could spend your 1 ability point within the rogue class to take thrown weapons, and then if you were human, you'd have another one. You could actually use the other one to do something else in there too. But the human ones you can actually kind of use wherever. So
do you still get the other points in your 1st class?
No,
it's just the one.
Yeah, like when
and
you choose.
And that's the counterbalance to multi-classing. Okay.
And just, I guess for clarification, the level increment is the same as if it was still 5th to 6th. So even though you're only going level 1 into rogue, your true level, what we call your true level, is still 6, and the increment is still the same as it would be.
Right.
So.
Oh, your turn.
Oh no, this is I just read, when you multi-class, you have to use ability.
Oh, okay. I have exciting day, good fighting. I like to hear that. I'm glad people are having fun.
I have love the game.
Nice. I have missing a lot of the marshals. Hope to see Davin out soon. Game isn't the same without him.
I agree.
Yes.
It'd be very nice to see Davin out. So hopefully he's doing well. This one says, good games, everyone. My overall experience at LARP has gone up significantly, 100%.
Sweet.
Cool.
I have great day. Thank you, Flarpers.
Boy, a lot of these are just positive, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, though.
Yeah, good. This says, I believe it's going to be a great time when we're on property and the immersion will be more real. I agree. I can do this little speech that I'm going to do here just as a little side note here. You want that one?
I'm out of
it. Oh,
them.
you're out. When people get here the first time, especially on the grand opening, I'll give them sort of a little speech about role play, and then I'll continue to do that until they're kind of self-reinforcing it. But it's basically like, I basically say, here is different than the park. It's the inverse. So at the park, you role play rarely. It's like a rare occurrence, and most of the time you're not really in character, so you're not really reacting as if you were your character or engaging in dialogue as your character. You don't do that too much at the park, and I think it may increase even because I'm going to be coming from the property and going up there, and other people might too. I think the role play people will stay in character more. But basically, what I'm going to tell them is the whole reason we're here. There's no other audience but you and the other person you're involved with here. So like if I'm in the woods and I'm standing around and somebody walks up in campaign, which is like free roam. So when I notice them there, everything from that point forward is just for me and them. There's no other audience around. It's me and them. So it behooves me just as much as it does them to role play. So to make that interaction fun, basically. So engaging in dialogue with each other in character, it's basically this is a more direct way to say it, is like, say you and me and you are sitting here just talking talking about life, and somebody comes up and we notice that somebody else is like at the edge of the thing.
Okay.
I expect me and you to stop doing what we're doing and immediately, for the benefit of this person, at the very least, stop and talking about stuff that is like out of character or out of game or whatever.
Right.
And like address this person. And more especially if they say anything about you speaking Babylonian. Basically, the point is, if you're at the property, the only place, like if you're talking out of character and you're going to continue to, everybody else here is trying to stay in character. So it kind of makes it more difficult to be immersed. So what you need to do is if you're going to continue with like a phone call or a conversation or whatever, and you can't stop to role play, consider yourself dead and either go as a ghost, go take care of your thing and then come back and res and be back in the game. Or if you have to, it's going to be a long call, go sit in the parking lot. The parking lot is the place you go, or in the trailer here where we're at is acceptable to not necessarily be in character all the time. But out there, any place you're on the property, it's almost like it's acceptable, but it's frowned upon to not be engaging with each other in character. All it will do is make your experience less cool, basically, even if you don't do it. Like, it's for the benefit of you both.
Right.
And I guess the word I'm looking for is you're encouraged to stay in character. And even if you're not good at role playing, that's fine. You don't have to like talk in a crazy accent or do anything crazy. You just basically refrain from saying things you wouldn't normally say that doesn't fit the medieval fantasy setting. At the very least, just refrain from saying things you wouldn't normally say in that setting. You don't have to get like crazy with it. And you can listen to other people that do role play, and you'll figure out how they say things in character that are difficult to say. Like if you're getting a phone call or something, you can be like, oh, I just received an urgent crow from, wherever, let me read this note. And then you just go off and take your phone call and put your weapons above your head and be dead or whatever. Come back and then, right back into the game. Basically, try to make sure you're not breaking other people's immersion either. So.
Yeah.
And count up the number of times I said basically for a prize. No.
Put that in the comments. All right, my turn then?
Yeah.
Whew. This one says, Lord Reese should be the king at the start of the year. He's the best cleric ever.
Is it signed?
Nope.
Okay.
Wonder who wrote that.
Mine says, great day, moo.
I know who you are. Moo right back at you. Mine says, do vampires spread heartworms and other bloodborne diseases? Fancy.
They spread stinky burps.
You're not even going to answer the question. You're just going to skip over it.
They do. If they have heartworms, yeah, they spread them.
Man, that's rough.
But the heartworms may be spread, but they don't thrive well within the vampire body. So I would have to get them pretty recently. Like they're not going to grow up into adults.
This is a short-term thing. Gotcha.
Doing this,
Right.
Anyway, is it my turn? I think with the upcoming opening of the property, we should think about maybe having meetings discussing quests and such. I do have several things we can use for innovation that and the meetings.
Inspiration.
Inspiration, yeah. What'd I say?
Innovation.
Oh. that and the meetings could help with creating the book for holiday-based quests. And this is specifically from Heimdall because Heimdall helps me do quests. And the reason we left this one in there is I did want to address it a little bit. We will have some quests coming up. So that's another aspect of the property, which I guess I'm not going to get too deep into, but there is a whole quest line that leads to a boss that if beaten leads to like a whole other sequence sort of, or like a whole other system that allows us for like quote unquote exploration outside of the initial starting area. So we'll get into that a little bit more next week, but know that there are quests involved. So.
Kind of a storyline too.
Yeah. And it's dynamic. So like what I set up in the beginning is subject to change based on how people interact. Like I don't always have a specific outcome that I am directing them towards. Like I let them, I know that they may change what they're doing and that would change what I'm doing.
Right.
So.
My turn?
Yeah.
I have a great day. Moo.
And then for the last one, it just says, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you to moderators and to North for not only hosting, but providing the necessary equipment for us to LARP. A huge thank you for everyone that's participated in LARPing, making it all that better. Cool. I agree. Here's a question. Is there anything that you'd like clarification on specifically about going to property? Any questions you have about like a system or any specific change that you want me to address, which I probably will address some, but just to make sure I'm hitting anything specifically that that people have as far as questions go for the property or changes that are going to be coming up because of us having the property.
Yep, you can put them in the comments, and then next week we'll read the comments and make sure that we address any questions or anything like that, because property is a little bit different. Well, it's a lot different than the park. And I think that some people that have never been there before might not understand what those changes are.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look forward to, I am also going to be releasing in the rule book a chapter of the rules that has been hidden since I redid them because we weren't at property. So there is a whole nother section of the rules about, I think it's called campaign, I think was the chapter. That's going to be re-released into the rule book. So look for that coming up. It should be released before next week's podcast. We'll definitely go over that at the podcast because that actually covers a bunch of stuff too. So
It's cool that you already have it written up, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even the siege equipment, which isn't something we ever were able to implement before, is written up.
Nice.
So if we get to that point too, we can do siege equipment. So when we get to that point, I'm assuming it'll happen eventually. So.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of updates, we're also updating the Squire test to be more relevant to how we're working things now, because some of the questions in there were
goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like the way some of them were worded, and also we added a lot of rules and changed some rules. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we changed the way that they were worded. Mm-hmm. For the Squire test.
Oh, specifically, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and some questions I was saying didn't have questions before. Now they do.
Yeah.
Or they at least, the one on the website is updated, and I think the one in the Codex books is partially updated. But neither one of them are fully, we haven't went through them completely. So, But anyway, I think this is it. And we're going to try this, also this setup where we're just trying to kind of get in and out of here. We're giving you the relevant information, asking the question, trying to give you just the meat of it until, we're big enough of a operation to justify having little segments and things like that. And then we might go back to that. But for now, we're just going to try to stick to this because we feel.
Hold on. No, we hope you keep listening.
And we hope you keep fighting in the name of Darvishan.
And we hope to see you all next week. Bye.
Bye. Welcome to the Phlarpin Podcast. Phlarp stands for Park Hills Live Action Role Players. We are a medieval fantasy-themed LARP group that engages in unscripted combat against each other using padded LARP weapons and a shared combat system. We operate out of Park Hills, Missouri every Sunday from 1 until 5 p.m. It is our hope here at the Phlarpin Podcast that through the utilization of this platform, we can expand on the ideas and suggestions taken from our players in order to maximize player retention and to expand our player base. The Phlarpin Podcast is made possible by support from our players and listeners like you. If you would like to support us, please visit our Patreon, where you can do so for as little as $5 a month. Also, any engagement on our YouTube or Facebook pages is much appreciated, and thank you for listening.